All right, Oklahoma, every month we sit down with city leaders, including Oklahoma City Police Chief Ron Basie, to get updates on things happening around the city. And today, an update on the police department. Chief Basie joining us right now. Chief, thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, Cameron. Thank you.
Yeah, so of course, this month, new president, Donald Trump, taking office. We've seen changes across the country when it comes to immigration. We've seen his crackdown on immigration, and that's included ICE arrests in other places across the country. I'm curious, Chief, if there's going to be any impact to us here, and would we see anything like that in terms of arrests of migrants or any changes here in Oklahoma City?
Well, at this point, we haven't been asked to do anything. Our legal staff is reviewing the executive orders to see if there's any future implication, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Could be something to, yeah, maybe future updates. Okay. Officer-involved shootings, we see them, they happen. There was one even new video released of one from New Year's Eve. I'm just curious, you know, a consistent update. What happens when there's an officer-involved shooting for the public to know? What are the typical steps? Obviously, officers are usually placed on administrative leave. It's investigated. Would you just give us a quick update on what happens when an officer-involved shooting happens?
Absolutely. Officers are placed on administrative leave. It becomes a criminal investigation, so that is investigated by our homicide unit and presented to a prosecuting authority to make a determination on criminal liability. At the completion of that, we then do an administration, which is basically the use of force report, or use of force investigation, rather. What's important to know is there's a return to duty protocol for the officers. These are traumatic events for not only the officers and their families, but we don't want to put them back on the streets until we're sure that they're mentally, physically, and emotionally well. And so we have a whole process to address that and make sure they're good to go and ready to serve the community again.
Yeah, handled with the sensitivity it deserves. I saw on the Facebook that you guys were posting about jugging incidents recently. You've had a few cases of it where someone might be leaving a bank, maybe you have an envelope with cash in it, a suspect or someone might see that, follow a person to a new location and make an attempt to rob that person. Is this something people need to be thinking about? What could you maybe do to avoid becoming a victim to something like that?
So first and foremost, you always have to be aware of your circumstances. A lot of times people get zeroed in on the ATM machine or the bank itself, or they have the envelope in their hands, or they grab a lot of cash. But just be aware of where you are, who's around you, and take the necessary precautions. If you think that something's off, trust your instincts and move to another location or call 911.
It seems we're always talking about new phone scams. There was one here recently where people were posing as the Oklahoma City Utilities Department, getting money from people. What can someone do if they think they've become a victim? Is there a section of the police department that deals with phone scams? And what would be your advice to people to try to avoid becoming a victim there?
Well, first and foremost, you should be aware of anyone who's asking for your personal information that might lead to any type of identity theft. And so if you have a question, hang up and call the actual utilities department. There was a scam from, I guess, floating around that the police department was calling and telling people they owed money. We will never do that. So if that's the case and you have a fear that that's the case, hang up and call us. We do have a financial crimes unit that does investigate those things.
You guys got people that work on that kind of thing. Okay, and I want to talk about drugs too. Counterfeit pills being laced with fentanyl. There was some reporting on that. What should people know about that? Obviously, that's incredibly concerning. We know the dangers of fentanyl. What are you guys seeing right now when it comes to drugs and specifically fentanyl?
Fentanyl is a national crisis. We've seen opiate deaths rising, and there have been several steps to mitigate that. Our officers carry Narcan just to administer in the number of overdose cases that we go to. But at the exact same time, we want the public to be aware that you shouldn't take anything that isn't prescribed to you. There's always an enhanced danger. You don't know what someone else has put in it. Don't take anyone else's medication. Don't take anything that you get off the streets or from any other illegal source.
Yeah, in gun violence, something that, you know, plagues the entire country. We deal with it here in Oklahoma City as well. There's been new reporting too, I think more than 400 guns that were stolen from cars, unlocked cars in a lot of cases. Is that a consistent reminder you want people to be thinking about? If you have a gun and you have it in your car, obviously you got to be careful in making sure that it doesn't end up in the wrong hands.
Absolutely. I think it was somewhere around 442 last year. Yeah. I think we're off and rolling this year. I think it's somewhere between 17 and 21 so far. And the most amazing statistic about that is several of those cars were unlocked. And so you should never keep guns in cars, number one. Number two, and I really want people to think about this, when you leave your gun in the car, you're making it accessible to someone who has very nefarious means for it. And the last thing any of us want is a phone call saying our gun was used in a heinous crime. So please, please, please secure your weapons somewhere other than your cars.
And last thing I wanted to talk about, Chief, you've seen some good turnout at some of the recent police academies, always looking for new officers, right? When would be the next police academy, and what's kind of been the trend in terms of new cadets showing up?
I'm glad you brought that up. We started our new academy class last week with 70 recruits, and so we're now hiring or taking applications for the next class beginning in August, and we're hoping to have an even larger number. So again, if you're someone who is interested in serving this community, or you know someone who you think would be a good fit, please contact our recruiting unit. Join OKCPD.com, or that's their hashtag. You can find them on any social media platform, or you can dial 297-1116.
Great. Well, Chief, we always appreciate you coming in to give us monthly updates. It means a lot to us here at KOCO 5 News. Wishing you the best of luck as things continue there.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.